Hello, am I online? I hope so. I had a crash of ZBrush not so far. What we are going to do is a decoration for this fireplace top of the fireplace. Okay, and I'm not sure yet how will this be. I mean, so I like the contour, I like the design of this pediment, but what I want to show to you is you see those cornices from the both sides. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So those cornices from the both sides, this one and its angle, they angle quite well, I will say. Okay, so that's I wanted it even be more accentuated to give it more feeling of spacious, like wing. But surprisingly, it will not work in 3D. You see how big and empty this space, and that's maybe not a problem. So we could sculpt here and make here some opposite direction, give some opposite direction here, maybe. So somehow sculpt something here, and this element could be like this empty one as well. But here, if we have a look at the sketch, we have acanthus, and this acanthus should be quite huge to cover this gap. What the you know, I've noticed only right now this, so I've been working on this to prepare for sculpting, and that's why I'm so only right now I've noticed. And alternative the alternative for this, so there are type of profiles. Another one, so this cornice, this cornice has this profile, and because of that, so here is this empty space, but in the same time this beautiful volute here as well. So you see, it's because of it's formed by the edge of cornice. So the alternative, yeah, something typical for baroque, this profile. So this is an opposite one, and then we will have here another picture, so that we will have from the back side this and this. Okay, and the center will be formed by this one, but it is also common for. So I'll try today to sculpt as it is, and we will see will this work out or will not. So therefore we will need strong accent opposite to this one. So let's start. By the way, I wanted to show to you last time, I have promised but didn't do. I didn't show you the picture of the, so that's, yeah, this is our roses we've sculpted. Do you remember? They are, for the scale I put it here, some decorative element from the collection of the stallion, and this leaf you probably have seen it on the stallion YouTube. So yes, they are quite in a style, in the same scale. The scale was okay, and I'm generally happy with the result. And I've sculpted it as it is, as just as we finished the same, everything the same. So you see here unfinished elements, so I've covered it. Leave it as I left it as it is. Why? That's an interesting story, because of their customer wanted to participate it, and he wanted to touch a clay himself, and to explain the girl who will work with clay what to sculpt, which volume, instead of explaining all that, I provided this real scale example, and she will sculpt it based on that. Funny story, but yeah, sometimes this happens when you nurturing client, when you're trying to give him more bright experience. Maybe he will decide that this part bigger, this part smaller. I don't know what he will say, but this is one of example how we work sometime. So I'm doing also this mantle right now, and at Okotobi I'm bad with the drapery, extremely bad. So it is an old plasticine model, 12 years old. I did it many years ago, and it was kept by the guys, and now it is again on the market. So these roses were totally lost. Left side of Ionic, totally new. Some small changes, not changes, just restoration here. And the drapery, there was not a drapery absolutely before. Okay, so that's just not important. So let's start sculpting. Okay, so what we should do is to have a picture here. Yeah, the picture is here. So change the scale, and the story of this mantle also isn't simple. I don't know why, but never nothing simple nowadays. So the story is I hate this vertical offset. It is somehow never. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's try 7. No. 9. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so this pediment will be made for the marble carving. Okay, and the guys who carve marble already have done some, I don't know how it's called, so they already have contour of this detail, but they for some reason haven't said me that they already did it. Don't know why. And I've adjusted it twice as a result. First time just doing some what I like, what I think would be great, and the second time. So this is the most problematic place. I'm starting from this one, because of that. So, and the second time I've adjusted it for them to the thing they already have done. Okay, so here we go. I'm just roughly adjusting it right now, so that's all. I want to start from this one just because of it is the most sophisticated part. So, by the way, because of the pediment is too big, doesn't work well. Decimation. You see, with the smallest decimation, we've got only 93,000 of that's all. So, but it's enough. Okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, I just want to see what could we do. And they wanted something quite bumpy, quite huge, of big volume. So I could show you. Could I? Probably yes. Yeah, the console, they already, that's not right. I would not recommend doing it. So they already have consoles, cobbles for that fireplace, and they so this is my sketches. I have sent them, and so. And that's, and at the last moment it's okay to be that it should be smaller. So, but we could make it like, you know, over and here. So maybe it isn't bad, especially if we make here some. Add here some volume. I know this one edge is 6 mm, so therefore roughly 1 cm could be okay. So if we have here something like that, then we will be safe, I think. With this height, even with this height, we may be safe. Okay, so okay, there is chance. And the volutes should be slightly bigger. Yes, here. It is the pediment itself made in CAD program, so it is actually aren't perfect. So if we have a look at it, display properties, some of the surfaces of the normals inverted. So I'm using here double. So because of this, I could not do the dynamation. It doesn't work for with double. And it started to close holes, and there's so many holes, so it will not work. So I wanted slightly to sculpt these volutes, and even maybe it's necessary because it's from cut they are absolutely plain. But okay, not now. So double is okay. So also slightly less transparent. This one, okay. This one. So yes, and because of this high volume here, we could not leave this plain as well. So maybe even I wanted it to make to be slightly more graphical than big, but this will not leave us the choice. Okay, so another sphere. I love to start from sphere. Don't know, it is not always good. But so yes, the main accent here probably should be okay. So there is our main accent, and it will be at least the same height as this one. At least some of the accents should be here quite high. So let's adjust the shape just to so and we will see what's going on here. So now decimated, maybe slightly more. How big is our decimation? Not too much. Not too much. So smooth it. So here we have a juxtaposition of this volume with that volume, and that's okay, and that's what we probably leave and what I like. So as I said before, the sketch should be from the start. So you are starting and you are doing something what is already beautiful. Somehow the lines which form this shape could be, so yes, in this case now doesn't looks like this one is too high, like this one is too high. So where will be the accent then? So the accent probably here and here. This one could not be accent, this one will be smaller. This maybe. Okay, so I'm using the move brush with Alt. Now just slightly pushing it, pulling it down slightly, just to see what will be. So what's bad about ZBrush for and probably the digital sculpting in general for the such work like this one is it is hard to appreciate the volume, because when you sculpt something 3D, like human head or human sculpture, you have a tool contour here, yes, and you could check out the contour. Here, when it is so plain, you could not make it. You could not see. Sometimes you're sculpting here and you do not know how big it is compared to this one, and this is not the most sophisticated example. There are more interesting examples for that, for this issue, for this case. So the picture, it is interesting also that when I first time sculpted the mantle, the fireplace I showed you, I have finished picture, by the way. I have some very finished picture. Now it's just collection. Somewhere here. Yes. Yes. And yeah, that's what he did. He did. Okay. We sculpted it together with a friend of mine. He made the drapery and he made the sculpture, and I've made the fireplace itself. And okay, so why I'm showing it, I've forgotten. The guys, you see, they could carve it from this marble, but they could not sculpt it. It is extremely interesting. So I'm sculpting for them, although they will carve it better than I ever will be able. Just that's amazing. And when I was in their workshop first time 12 years ago, this is the first time I've noticed that what they do usually looks better than what I sculpt. So they do the work based on my sculpting, and it looks better than what I have sculpted. Although they invited me and they saying that they do not know how to sculpt. And that was so amazing for me that I started to thinking and started to analyze what is going on. And what is going on, exactly what I'm doing right now. So when they sculpt, or when they carve from the huge volume to the small details, and they appreciate the general volume, the low frequency volume, the primary volume. They at the early stage when they do this, it's called in Russian обрубовка. I don't know how it's called in English. At the early stage, when only they started to sculpting, to carving, they already appreciate, they already see the beauty of the volumes. So yes, when I'm sculpting, I'm also thinking about those volumes, about how they play, what they roll, but I do not see it from the. So I'm just trying to imagine the general form, and they actually see the general form, and that's the difference. And that's why what they're doing looks better than, although they measuring, they sculpting, and they sculpting exact what I've did, but not exact. And it is this subtle not exact is this fact that they see the general form, the simple form, the main form. That's what the main volume, the main shape. They see what I do not see. They see what I only could imagine when I'm sculpting, and they see it. And so that's why when I started to work with ZBrush and with digital sculpting, I started to work this way. Without the stereoscopic vision, it is even harder to narrow volume and imagine it and try to keep it, and that's I've spent a lot of time just to trying to understand how to bend some of the carved element I have, and that's where all the lessons, almost all the lessons you see are wrong about the decoration. So the decoration has a general shape, has general something what you the main volume, the primary volume, and this primary volume always losing by the lessons for CG artists. So the lessons mostly about how to achieve a shape slightly reminding contours, but that's not the point. That's not the point even what I'm now sculpting. It is I do the general volume for those guys, for carvers, for those who will carve the fireplace, and for them it is important not to spoil the stone. That's the main goal for them. That's the main goal for them. That's the main why they asking. So they will not. Yes, by the way, they will not use 3D model for CNC machining or whatever. I will do them small, simple, not small, simplified copy from I don't know, polyurethane or something soft, just to have this just to give them ability to see what it is, where it is, and to make them sure they use volume. So let's do it again. To use volume, right, and they will not spoil the stone. Stone aren't cheap. Here in Russia, at least, you know, transportation from Italy to Russia, that's, and now that's again happily they have it already transported, but so you see, I'm not so much concerned about the details right now. I'm more concerned about the how well this looks from the afar, and oops. And that's how this detail will be looking at the sculpture, at the carver, at the early stage of carving from the stone. They always start from this. So we will come to details pretty soon, and then I maybe explain something else. So the style is mixed. It is not baroque. It is my own picture, so it is not a real baroque. It is just my own improvisation. So why I'm saying this is just because I'm looking for an excuse when I started to sculpt the details, the elements. You know, there's a lot of types of acanthus, plenty of them. So there's acanthus typical for even for different countries. So for example, the next time, I hope I could postpone it for 1 week. Next time we will do this mantle, and this style of, I do not have better picture. I have already done the profiles and all this stuff, but I do not have better picture, and this style isn't common here in Russia, and this make everything more complicated. What is this there? How does it work? And what the noise is really consist of will be interesting to study. I have already studied this a bit, and that's what I'm preparing now for the next week. Yeah, I think I will postpone it for you. So the general shape, okay, that's the stage I am now on, and I'm never hurry up to leave this stage, because better to be sure, okay. And because of us actually the most of what the decoration is decided on this stage, should be decided on this stage, on this those acanthus leaves, all those scrolls, and all those volutes, they all just follow the I'm sorry, as always, it's working. Да, все хорошо, хорошо. Так, ну вот те профиля я могу, я тут искать, ну я так сейчас в таком режиме, я где-то полепил чуть-чуть, камин порисовал, вот, и где-то там, Толику сейчас почти закончил этот потолок, вот, то есть так, по чуть-чуть, сейчас ничего не заканчивал так, чтобы раз и все. Да, ну, Толика я практически закончил, просто я там его пытаюсь сделать универсальным скриптом. Столько лепку для Толика надо. Вот, будем лепить, да, получается? Потом в 3D набросочки, да? Угу. Хорошо. Не, ну я имею в виду, да, сейчас что делать. Просто там, ну да. Ну, с другой стороны, да, ну и мне самому это интересно. Вот. Угу. Ну, потолок известный достаточно, да, такой известный, и я думаю, что... Слушай, вот я сильно переживаю сейчас, потому что я не смотрел его сейчас к потолку близко, но я вижу, что, например, профиль на 100 миллиметров шириной не очень-то хорошо ложится на 1,20 м паттерн. Вот. И он вроде как хочет крупный паттерн. То есть я думаю, что паттерн должен оставаться там крупным. Вот. Судя по тому, как я примерял сейчас. Ну, не, я понимаю, но я просто к тому, что... ну да, в принципе, действительно. Это же штолик, да, это штолик. От нас зависит. Тут все от нас зависит. Да, я понял. Ага. Угу. Ну, по большому счету, да, согласен. Он действительно уже все время именно это теряет. Ага. Ну хорошо, да. Ну. Угу. Угу. Я даже не знаю, надо ли убеждать, потому что обычно же, ну вот мы тут смотрим такой уровень заказчика, то он просто... Ну, да, наверное. Угу. 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 Хорошо, хорошо. Да, ну пока ничего нету, да, сегодня. Вот. Да. Ага, хорошо. То одну пока, да, или? Угу. Тебе Оля не понравилось или? Ясно, хорошо. Хорошо. Ладно тогда, хорошо. Да. Ну да. Ладно, да. Хорошо, у меня просто с 2 до 3 стрим, я сейчас там это... Лепчиков. Ты сейчас в эфире, Да, хорошо. Да, давай, пока. I'm sorry, it's work. It's work. Everything is okay with rosettes. I've got news. Rosettes I've showed you before, and the last time we have sculpted. everything is okay. Interior designer or architect accepted it. So what I'm thinking about right now is those volutes. They are still big. Maybe some accents should be made. Some accent maybe. So how much? 32. So let's switch on then and dive deeper. So I'm streaming when I'm on my working hours. So sometimes there are calls from colleagues, from clients. And by the way, speaking about lesson, do we need a lesson, or that's just enough? What do you think? Those who watching it not first time, so that's is that enough to watching, or maybe because the first stream was about the drawing a canvas, okay, and there were some information, there was some information, some useful information, but it is, you know, second time you will probably not watch it 2 hours or how long it was. So maybe it is necessary to make some concentrate, to take some exertion of those exertion from what we have already done. So that's just, I'm contemplating on it, on the destiny of what have been done and what could be done further. And is it necessary at all? I mean, maybe this format just working and showing what is going on and how it is, maybe that's okay. So those scrolls, volutes, don't know how to call it, also undeservedly ignored by the many contemporary artists. They are simplified, although they are actually quite sophisticated geometry. So I believe this is okay. I mean the height. I'm always thinking about the height right now, just because of I've seen this height here, and I'm always thinking about the height. So constantly during the sculpt day, exactly because of I see it, and that is kind of annoying for me slightly. I still do not know how I will cope with this. Is it okay, or it will be worse? And now I'm diving deeper into details, so maybe needed some Oh, as always. By the way, last time I've done a rosette. When I've done the rosette, we were sculpting last time, and unfortunately, I've noticed that there is a. You see, that's what is going on, and there was a even worse situation. And to make a render, to put it on the ZBrush Central was kind of pain. So we have when you have a good volume, it is easier to make. Танюш, я на стриме сейчас. Надо потом перезвоню. So okay, and when you have a good volume, when you have a volume smooth and of right shape, it is much simpler to you to make sharp edges as well. So because of I'm not going to polish it later, and I will probably leave it as it is during the sculpting today. It is I'm not going to think a lot about this anatomy, which is under. So this I will not divide details by parts. That's yeah. I just want to say that I will not divide details by parts. So probably yeah. This edge here and this edge here, they are similar and they should be somehow come one from another, but. And here again, so this is the same here, the situation. I mean, this is the prolongation of this one, okay, and this is again the same edge, but I don't know, not this time. That's enough. Okay, so here. Okay. As I said, the acanthus of different style are slightly different. They have a slightly different anatomy and slightly different approach to sculpting them. And here we see this type of baroque anatomy. Baroque, probably more French baroque. If you're looking for a good example of baroque, it's an interesting style because it is very interesting style. It is versatile. It's Rococo maybe even, but actually I do not know where is the Baroque and where Rococo, but it is hard to distinguish them. They are very different, and not so much difference. So some people say that if there is a not symmetrical ornament, this is Rococo. If there is only symmetrical, then it's baroque. Some people saying that Rococo lighter and baroque more more heavier, here bigger forms, bigger shapes. So that's. But the real Baroque I like is of course in Italy and in France. And I'm living here in St. Petersburg, Russia, and there is no real Baroque. There is a Germany Baroque, because in the early 19th century Russia was tightly connected to Germany, and so we have here, although the language we have tightly connected to French. I mean, our noble people always speak French during the 18th century, 19th century, but the architecture was more like a German Baroque. I don't know, that's slightly strange, but it is so. And the real Baroque is somewhere in Italy, somewhere in France, in Poland, because the Poland was under the Italy at that time. And what is important is that the real Baroque, the Baroque which was made at that time, was made when there were no good technology for molding, for mold technology. It was not developed, and it was developed much more later. Adams probably is we discussed the last time the Adams architect, so probably at his time already there were some molding technology, molding technology, soft mold technology, and because of lack of the technology for molding, all the real Baroque was sculpted at the place, at situ, on the situ, on the place. So if you have if you see a plaster decoration, ornamental plaster decoration, somewhere in Poland, somewhere in Italy, it was made just on place. So they sculpted it in real, just from plaster. Just they took plaster and sculpted. That's amazing how they did it. I don't know. No, I do not know that. But in the same time, because of this nature of sculpting, the Baroque is very, although it's versatile. Maybe because of that they versatile. So they did it by hand, so they didn't want to make it symmetrical, and didn't want to make it simple. Okay, maybe to make it so that it's just boring for them was, and it also very technological. I don't know how to say so. When you draw a line from plasticine, the living stone, so for example, you are carving some line here, and some part of plasticine will just got on the side of, in this case not plasticine, there is a plaster, and this part which left from the leaf, and some other details, they are looking very like nobody spends much time on it. Although they are subtle, they are different, uh, they follow shape, but they are simultaneously they are like made by one movement of instrument. And the same now in carving. The If you have a look at the carving, wood carving, or you will see that the traces of chisel create the details, the details, and for example here in the baroque. So again, so this rocaille formed by the very few movement, actually. It's just, like this leaf, so we just put it here, and that's all. If you have a look at the historical example, yes, historical example here, not no good quality of here, but so small, not show probably, but yeah, they all like a movement, like you put it, here, wow, 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 like you don't know, say, they just follow the let's draw it. So they just follow okay. So if you will just define the shape of this line or this line, you will somehow just create, just your hand will move this way, and it should be kept somehow in the sculpting as well, in the 3D sculpting as well. And in the 3D sculpting as well. So this natural movement, this natural so I will even sometime smooth, just to see the general form. This is the hardest thing to notice. You see here we have probably bump, or maybe not, and it's hard to appreciate, is it here or not, or isn't it here, because we do not have stereoscopic vision here when we sculpting this type of decoration. Also, just because we are sculpting for CNC machining, probably the simple vertical lines also I want to avoid. So we definitely could dive here deeper to accentuate this so what's I'm thinking about right now is this inner So, I'm sorry. Толь, я перезвоню, хорошо? Да. Окей. Окей. Maybe even slightly more down. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to avoid this line. So as I said, the line before, the line should be one movement. Okay, then it's strong, then it's work, and before here was something like low to bending, so no to bending. So sometimes yes, some elements could have two bending, but if it is like this one, it should be this one in any direction, in this one, so this just one movement, and that's by the way the heritage of the carving of the real carving handmade work, so that's just one moving, just moves chisel. I very recommend to have a look if you haven't how the wood carvers do they work, because how they hold instrument and how they follow the volume. If you want to better understand the real ornamental plaster, that's what I recommend, strongly recommend. So this one on the plane, and what I'm trying right now to understand is do we need to dive here deeper down to the plane surface? Usually when there is a big plane under it, no, I'm sorry, if there is for example like the cartouche, okay, how to show it. So yes, if you have something like this one, like you see here, we do not have, so we have here the volume, and then we could not go to the plane, no dive to the plane. But when, and here, so this is the plane, there is no volume, there's no, and here we have this volume, and but anatomically there should be some, like this one is not a good example, but so, and if we, and because of, and here I do not see this, and do not see this how to say, anatomically there is no element which will hold this volume, this so what's the beneath the plane, but, and maybe, so this part, okay, this, but there, so I don't know how they even explain it. That's just interesting to, okay, here we will have a flower, our flowers here, and I'm sculpting only this part right now, and just because I'm sure that this volume is already somehow defined, okay, and we will I know that that volume is already somehow defined. We have sculpted it, we have tried to understand what will up, what will down, but Yeah, now we could. Okay. I so eagerly tried to reach the bottom here that now it looks less big, smaller, than maybe we need some accent somewhere. So this one I definitely will go here. I will definitely go up. Here I will definitely go up. Okay, and I will not have here element connected it because there is already some element here. So those guys should hold everything. And here we have I could dive deeper slightly. So here we could, by the way, leave it not falls down to the surface. Okay, here we are trying to avoid this, to explain this height, so this is also interesting. So many people do the mistake trying to move this acanthus from here. No, it is coming from somewhere closer to. So this is not that direction, not that movement. So let's do something not too worth of. So 1 hour is already, so something interesting to see. So not dive into details, but more about the thinking or result oriented. So more result oriented something. So those inside. By the way, have a look here, not here. We'll have a look here. Here you see there's elements which are barely visible, and this flower are far from those and connected just maybe a few scratches on the surface here again. So it is quite versatile. A few types of elements are here, so that there are strong, there are big volumes, and there are as well smaller and more subtle. Oh, it's getting slower. It's getting slower. So maybe somehow try to remove polygons count smaller. So here So I'm always, how to say, puzzled by the how to remove back parts, because I saw some people sculpting in this mode of thin feature, but for me it is hard. So here we dive deeper. Okay, and we have here our additional inner leaves. They have a shape, they have a general form, they follow this function. Forms follows function. Forms follows function. That's interesting. That it's considered as for the modernist architecture and modern design, the sentence about the modern design, but it was said by the guy who did very decorated building. And yes, because of how to find the reason to be here, this element or that element, or why is this decoration is here, so, and make it believable for the eye that this is something what should be here, and not excessive, not excessive isn't a good word, not spare, not something. So I'm trying to keep the volume. I've already here decided that will be, and see that now that it is hard for such thin elements to have this volume. And maybe I will change my point of view about this. Or there is another way to do this, just give it more dynamics, give it so coming from here, so instead of vertical wall like this one, we will have here some movement from the ground up. Okay, so here the same again. So here definitely we should dive to the ground. Here definitely we should. There's no other. And what I'm doing now helping me to understand the height, because yeah, when I've been thinking about this from this perspective, I didn't know how actually deep I will dive, how thin will be elements. So here we have this and part of this will be hidden by using by flowers here. Okay, there are flowers here, and part of will be here. You need such a volume, so maybe bigger slightly, and let's then I measure it. Oi, I'm sorry. That's not what I wanted. But yeah, why not? So what the way? Ah, yeah, that's why not. It's saving. Okay, so let's decimation master, of course. So here is this our let's go to back to the big volume. Let's go back to big volume. So here we have movement back. So here we have this one. We will keep the accent though, but we will maybe I will add here another flower just to be more, and we will dive here deeper. We will leave the volume with the flower, but the actual decorative element will be lower. Here is the same, so we move slightly here like that, leaving accent of as was intended before, and now go deeper, because the elements here are of small size, and will be better to have them not so thick. So what's going on there? Ah, okay, I have here. Okay, let's here again. So this is our big element, this is our small element. Here we move this way, and here we dive it slightly deeper. Okay, and here we go in this direction, and here we have something like this. Okay. Is this okay? That's okay. So I think I was wrong about this ornament here. Maybe better to make it more bigger just. Here we have our canvas, so this is our volute. So let's do volute and dive here deeper. Okay, and as I said before, with ZBrush better sometime to add later, dive deeper and add later, and then trying to do a sharp curve. Oh, okay. I'm constantly forgetting to remove. How to remove them? Do you know the simple way to remove what is going on there behind? Once I did it somehow fast and simple, but do not remember how. Trying to now to recollect it, but could not. So although it is probably will be better to save our first volume, but although I haven't made I'm oriented on that, but not exactly. So what's going on? Oh, okay, but not exactly. I'm oriented at what we have done before, but do not follow it as, you know, as a law. We just should, because we already have decided that we will be here like that. No, of course not. Of course we have freedom to change our mind, and we have freedom to redo, and especially because we didn't know the thickness of the element. So we see here the elements are thin, and somehow it should be reached as that thickness, and to avoid any so I have lost a bit. Okay, so yes, here is what we have here, and here we will have another element here later, smaller, but thick enough to handle the height. And you see, so for Baroque it is relatively typical to have a huge difference in height. You saw I showed you, even just absolutely small elements could be all of a sudden used. So it's just everything is thick, and then pretty small, and very subtle, just almost unnoticeable elements appeared. And why I'm talking about this, because here we have less than 3 millimeter height, and here we have much bigger accent, and that's okay. I believe so. We will see how will that work later. For now, that's definitely okay, and I like it. So here we have some leaves could be cut just like, you know, inside, and to show the thickness, and they could hang in there. That's okay. So yeah, I will spend time here a bit. I think this is important. I think this one is important at the moment. So and here we have flower. We'll define later what the flower are. They will not. They should not be saturated too much. There could be a few of them, just one or two. So that's kind of. So here we have a head of our next element. Here canvas again. So and this one as well will have. You see, that's just like this, and it's really so. It is just that's what I told you about before. Just one movement. That's what it is actually is, and that's what it is actually was at that time. But maybe not so simple. So what's going on? Okay. So here what we have is okay. This is we dive in here. This is our flower. Flower will be later defined like that. Okay. Okay, here we have this one, here we have that one, so this is an integrative element, separate one. So here we put it slightly down, just to see how deep it should be. This is by the way why I do not sculpt by thin element, by the thickness or better seen when you have, yeah, you see here it's too thick. There should be something done with to it. And about one line we've been talking about, the line without additional bending, bended only once. So and by the way, now you see where is the volume born. Okay, because if we will start to work from separate, if we will start to bending those volutes, those scrolls, and trying to understand how to connect each other, so now we do our opposite work. So we somehow sure that this volume was defined for some reason, and the height here is for some reason, so we trust that reason, and we are just trying to get it right, that's all. So probably I do not have here the flower in the original picture, so let's check this out. Yes, there is no connection. That's okay. this one. Oh, I have forgotten to add my interface. I'm sorry. Yes. So okay. So here, as I remember, should be an acanthus. So many polygons, and I could not delete the back. Maybe I could. If we thinking that normal to screen will work, no, it will not in this case. So that's okay. I like the result. In general, that general shape is somehow defined. Here we will have deeper. Here we will have up. There is down. Here we will have this one, and there will be again that one, and we move here as well. So okay. So I could stream it down to the end of this work if it is interesting. There is a lot of to do. It's just simple. Yeah, let's make it simple. Let's make it simple. And here as well. And here as well. Separate this one from that one. Let's finish at least something. Let's finish at least something. and that will be better. But saving is necessary. But saving is necessary. Oops, too much. Okay, what to add here? Trying to make it as light as possible. What we have there? Yes. So we may have here as well. It's only one element, and here. So the situation with back side annoying me right now, so I'm just thinking about how to delete. We are not too much needed now. Okay, so here this is a bit slightly bigger. Okay. What's bad about the long streams, nobody watch it to the end. Even I am when I watching another guys. Those since I started to do this, I'm starting more, how would say, watching guys to the end more often. So here we have this one, and we have this one, and this one is here, and this one then here. Okay. When I started to sculpting in 3D, I had the hope to one day automate it And instead of automation, finally, after a few years of looking for the best program, best approach, I've coming back to the sculpting. I'm coming back to the sculpting, and I'm sculpting, and I'm sculpt us in real life, almost. So I remember how I avoid this issue. Maybe we could do it right now. So I just removed the field. I do not need it. Okay. Here as well, though we should fix, we will be fixing this later. So here as well. Oops. Okay, then the hidden, then auto group, and then there is a chance. No, there is no chance. Auto group. Yes. We have half of the previous polygons, and that's perfect. So let's make here, compensate here what we have lost. Just maybe tessellation again. Just to be sure we are on our way. So we are on our way. So you see, it's almost done. No, not almost done. I mean the general shape, the general volumes. So there's a lot of work, of course, inside. There's a lot of work to define the elements and details, but in general it is done. And now probably I could do stream for every separate element, so streaming how I sculpt this one or sculpt that one. So let's stop somewhere, just not to make the video so big. Let's stop, just not because of it is absolutely ready, but because of not to make the video so huge. Or maybe if you want to see how the details are coming, maybe to make some, because so now I'm happy with the general volume, with what is this here, and what I will do further, I will just refine the details, maybe some of them make separate and sculpt separate, maybe some of them not, maybe, so it will be obvious on its way. So kind of that, so I can put here and some here, so to make some lighter or heavier, for example here we could move more accurate. Oops. And I wanted to make here a scroll. It will be better to separate it. So here as well. Oh, what time is it now? Okay, we have already almost 2 hours. Don't know why, but I love to sculpt from this side. And ZBrush have a function this mirror and weld in the opposite direction. It definitely was made not for me. And as I told you before, I do not need some subtle detail here. There was a question about do I use absolute scale in subdivision. For such large work, it doesn't work. It's just the smallest one, not enough small. Maybe for this one is not, but not so far. I have done a corner decorative one, and that was just not enough of scale. So I lost something with this sleeve. Maybe covers will make this better. You know, they're professional covers, so maybe maybe I could make it not even simpler. I mean, oops. To pull it here. Yeah, just lost. So many similar elements, just lost. Oops. So the point is here that this scroll is under the angle, and it come not in just this direction but in that direction, so there should be some movement from, so it is, yeah, like that, like this one. So diving here, and that's why I'm striving to here so long, just and yes, and here this is perpendicular, so it is of its perpendicular, so this is, we see here the edge of this. Okay, holes from somewhere, yes. Something like that. Something like that. And I do not like, as a result, I do not like it. But what I'm happy with is that that smooth decoration looks quite well. So okay, it's time to take a break. I will keep it sculpting. I could show this picture, the result next time. Just, you know, 2 hours already, so it isn't simple. It's time consuming always. It is always time consuming. And again, so last have a last look at what we've got, just to see the result. And that's all for today. I hope you like it. I hope you like what have happened here. I already see some elements I want to change, but what I want to emphasize is that I'm moving from the large volume to the smaller volumes, and that's where this come from. So I mean, this more higher, this move down, this move up again, because it was at the early stage as well. And here the same, so we have this up, we have this down, and we have this movement, and again here the same. So all those things are coming from the larger volume, from the early stage of designing and combining, and you see here as well. So we have a movement from the thin to the up, and we have almost the same height as the those volutes has. But actually, of course, for every elements here, I could make some stream probably. It is the big one. It is the big one. I mean, this decorative element. Sculpting it for 2 hours, it's of course a challenge. It's of course a challenge. But we have not so bad result here. Not so bad result. Just refining later. That's those. And here, and there is, by the way, there's a Raquel as well behind this. Raquel is another interesting topic. It is for discussion, for sculpting its life. And just, oh, that's okay. I like it. I like this one. I like this accent. It is on the. What I do not like is this slightly broken line, and I will spend here sometimes later. But I like this, and in general, so how? Let's by the way, have a look at our result. Oh, yeah, it's even better. It's even better. I'm sorry. So, see you next time. I promise to show you the result. Maybe even in foam. I'm going to make it from foam, just for that guy to measure and carving. The details they do not need. They need only the general volume. And so see you next time, next week. And don't forget about my Wednesday stream as well. I think it is, though the last time I had some problem with scripts, but I like the result. I like what's going on there. I like the ceiling designs I'm showing there. And we will, by the way, sculpting pretty soon the rosettes for the, oh no, it's, but that's, I'm very tired, 2 hours, so why not to show. I'm working on the next ceiling design for the pasture design, and it will be like this one. The architect requested it, so you see here By the way, the sizes are the sizes. Yes, like this one. And I have already started it, and you may see. So let's take smaller profile, this one. So yeah, and you see it is as always parametrical, as everything in pastiche design. So you could change the accent, and I like this the fact that when we make this, you see, let's change the accent here. So it is the same profiles, they are just lines now, there's no mesh, yes, we have here also changed this parameter for this star, but but you see how different the perception of this So if we change this, so now we have crosses here. Now we do not have crosses here, and if we will put here a decorative element in the square, or maybe just make square almost negligible, so pretty small one, and put accent here, or maybe keep it small but give the star smaller as well to make this similar, or maybe yes, maybe so not too many variation, but enough. So this is a famous ceiling design, by the way, and we could examine. You will be able also on the pastiche design. It will be on the pastiche design. Don't know why. When? I know that the mesh will be ready next week. When I will put it on the website, I do not know, because you know I'm doing the script twice. Once visual scripting here, that's how it is going on, or what's there, and then request the script for the JavaScripting. Okay, so see you next time. See you. I hope it will be interesting for you. Bye.